I'm going to be talking about a particular story time that happens in 2010, 11, 12, which actually resulted or it ends up with someone's life being lost. And so this story is a bit hectic, and I'm also going to show in this video why I care so much. Like, this video is going to really lay out why you see this channel and why I might appear harsh to certain people at certain times. Why do I sound a certain way that I sound in some videos that you might have watched out there? This channel is called The Church Reality Check. We talk about church related subjects, but on this one, this particular story, it happens as my early parts of this ministry, which is around 2010 and so forth. And so I've been doing ministry work for about 10 years right now. And so this thing started in person. For those people that might not know, I used to interact with people directly, telling them about the things that you see on this channel. Stumbled on YouTube as these kids that I was interacting with in schools and whatnot, when they went to where they were going, they were like, hey, give us a way to get a hold of your content. This story happens in that particular period when I'm still interacting with people in person. So I'd edit these small videos to kind of explain things better, and then I would go over to the schools, hand them letters, they would give me access. And so during the free periods of the schools, I will then enter into these classes and do the evangelism. And this is where I met a kid by the name of Themba. Now, I need to mention, I'm saying meet loosely here, because I did know Themba, because Themba was in a school called Vine College. And Vine College is a school that was in town previously. Right now, I think it's outside of town also. I need this part to be clear also, is that Themba knew me. Okay, so he knew me from high school because I was in the same school with him and stuff like that. And how did I come to know Themba? It was because of a guy by the name of Alan. Alan and I knew each other because I used to visit his house for sleepovers and stuff like that, because I was friends with his brother. We were in the same class and everything. And so when I was done with my high school and I was thinking, a year later I got born again. And so and then a year after that, so 2 years after, he's now approaching grade 11, grade 12. I then go back to start doing evangelism, and I start where I was. No matter what I was teaching about, like Themba would just go off and just not want to hear anything. He would rather be outside of the class than to be inside when I was there. I never connected the dots to say, why does he then behave the way he does, right? But then later on it became clear he was now resisting the idea of authority. He wasn't like just being radical to me, because he knew me, right? And so he was doing that because of the position that I was now assuming, standing in front of him and teaching. Like 2 years 2013 I stopped doing evangelism and stuff like that much. I would go, but I didn't go as much as I used to before. Like I used to keep schools like Providence. I used to do evangelism in Providence 2011, 12 also. So Providence, they used to give me the slot on Monday and stuff like that. And so I'm giving you time frames, so people who were there in that period, they know, they can vouch for that particular thing. And Alan, then, that same kid who I knew because I used to do sleepovers at his house, I was friends with him on Facebook. Then he posted something one day, 2013, 14, to say, Themba has just passed on. I'm like, what happened? And he said this. I can't put that, how it did with the video of A.S. David. So I don't want to put that there. And so he says, this is what happened. And so I'm like, why? He says he was, this word also, YouTube doesn't like these words. In case you're not clear why I'm not saying that. He was facing this at his household. One of these people who was responsible for this kid was mistreating him for years. Like, he said, you know what, I can't explain it fully to you. I would just rather send you his Facebook page. And he's just going on and on, like post after post, man. And he's talking about, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. It seemed to have been something that his friends had known, but luckily his friends would reach out to him because they knew he was serious. Okay, that's how bad it was. They knew he was serious. And so they would always reach out to Themba and no, was all right. So they would talk him down out of doing it. That behavior that Themba had was because of what he was facing at home. So when he was outside of the house, he would be all of this. He would just be disrespectful, whatnot, all over the place. because at home they didn't give him that. So this brings back that idea of parenting to say, you know, what you might be doing at home has an effect on other people. I quit ministry because I thought I'm not equipped for this thing, because I didn't know how to deal with the Themba situation when it came up. And so I was like, how did I not know how to do that? And also another part was I was doing theological studies. How did I not know how to handle this matter after doing that? This might become off in some videos where you see me almost as if I'm being harsh on a pastor, or I'm being or I sound rude. It comes from that. It comes from something that I saw from myself, to say, you were not equipped. They would do these things. I'm like, hey man, relax man, just calm down. I was just trying to, you know, and I don't want it to seem like I was just ignorant. No, I was just trying to preach. You just want to preach, finish, do. You know? I wanted to just do the ministry stuff. I just didn't think about the individuals that in that depth. Yes, there was the great impact, but then there was this. You know, there was this particular part which says, I didn't know how to handle this. And it kind of came back to me. Like yesterday's story. If you listen to yesterday's story, when I'm talking about Martha not thinking through to say that the false prophet is not going to be there when you don't have a marriage. The false prophet is going to go on to whomever he has found at that time. And he's going to do whatever he wants to do continuously. And it might mean that he has other people. If he's willing to do this with you when you are in that talk or that harshness towards thingy, it comes from that. It comes from that Themba situation where I saw how ill-equipped I was. When I went to study for the next 4, 5, 7 years, it came from that. There will be another story time, maybe tomorrow or the next day. So subscribe if you like those, and there will be another particular story time. But this one is a little bit more when I'm now a Christian, and I was living like a charlatan. So that story time will come up very soon, and the encounters there were hectic, and so I will be doing that particular story time. Particularly, I put up this background so that I can do that story time. So today, later on, I'll be shooting that video, and you should probably have it by tomorrow. This channel didn't just come from nowhere. Me and saying, you know, certain pastors they don't know what they're talking about. It didn't come from nowhere. Okay, it came from a position where the passing of a kid made me realize how not equipped I was, and so I don't put on you a judgment which I didn't put on myself. The same way Matthew chapter number 7 actually puts it, to say, you who is telling another person that you have a something in your eye, you have a bigger problem in your own eye. So you see, it was something I had to reconcile, to say, you're not equipped, you know. And what was my resolution for that? Stop. It was stop ministry. Stop completely. What are you doing? You have no business doing this because you're not equipped. And I completely quit. And I went back to study. I started coming back to apologetics work towards 2017-18. And by then I had just spent the last 3 to 4 years studying soteriology and a little bit of end time studies and stuff like that, but solely soteriology, the study of salvation. And so I care. That's why I make these videos. It's Ricky, and I'll see you later.